A while ago, I was watching this video of a guy, a very well-known guru. If I were to tell you his name, you probably know who he is. And when he first came up, he got a lot of flack, and a lot of people were asking, like, is this guy a scam artist? And if you typed in his name, it was like, oh, so-and-so's scamming and all that. And I wonder, like, why did people consider this guy a scam artist? They didn't really know anything about him. And that's when it hit me, right? That's why they consider him a scam artist, because they didn't know anything about him. When you are trying to build your brand, you're trying to build like name recognition in your space, one of the first things that you have to think about is your story, your brand story. You have to essentially think, you have to tell people your story in a way where it makes sense to them in terms of how you made your money and why you are considered the expert. So when you are focusing on building your brand, first thing you need to think about is, what is my story? How did I get to where I am? So like in my case, I'm sitting here, I'm training speakers, right? And so I think to myself, how did I get there? Like, why should they listen to me? And so the story was, I started out as an entertainer, started learning in restaurants. I became a corporate entertainer. Then I went from a corporate entertainer to motivational speaker. And that's how I learned all the marketing and all that. So you're essentially thinking in terms of your story and how did you come to know what you know to teach what you teach. And this very well-known guru, the reason why everyone considered him a scam artist, even though like what he was saying was actually like some legit stuff, is simply because his story was hidden. Everyone was wondering, how did this guy make his millions? How did he freaking make his money? And he wouldn't tell people. He would simply come out with content. The content, if you listen to it, it was actually pretty good. But he would just come out with content and he didn't talk about his story at all, ever. You couldn't Google him, like nothing. He was just a ghost in terms of his past. And so when you become a ghost in your past, people naturally fill in the gaps with what they want to fill in. And because people are so skeptical nowadays, everyone's freaking skeptical. Everyone's like, oh, you're a guru, you must be a scrub, right? You must be a scam artist. If you say you're a guru, everyone thinks you're a scam artist. And so because of that, people fill in the gaps. And because you're not telling your side of the story, they naturally win. And so that's what happened with him. Whereas on the other hand, if you tell your story, you have proof of it, you have videos and everything, like how with me, if you were to Google me, you would see these videos of me performing, well, maybe not performing in restaurants, maybe you see some pictures because that was so long ago, but you would see videos of me like performing on stages and speaking on stages. You see all that stuff. You could see my past and how it led up to this very moment. Whereas with the other guy, you couldn't see how it led up to the moment where he's teaching people. So if you're going to build your brand, really focus on your story. Really start out with, how do I know what I know so I can teach what I teach?